Hey again, welcome back to Daily Dose of Anime Recaps. In this video, we'll be covering episodes 7 and 8 of the series, The Testament of Sister New Devil. Previously, we saw how Takashi and the other hero clan members waged war against Basara and his two stepsisters. In today's recap, we will surely be continuing the story from there. However, before we begin, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons for goodness sake. That said, let's take a peek at what happens next in the series. Finally, it's time for the epic showdown between Basara and his childhood buddies from the hero clan. The guy is busy getting beaten black and blue by Kurumi, Yuki's rambunctious little sister. However, our boy soon regains his footing after resorting to his trump card, Banishing Shift, to literally annihilate all of Kurumi's attacks from existence. In such a way, the dude finally gains the upper hand against Kurumi, and even has a chance to shut her eyes forever for good. However, being the do-gooder that he is, Basara obviously isn't cruel enough to slay his beloved Yuki's baby sister. Instead, he prevents Kurumi from falling to her death, and in doing so, is finally able to gain her goodwill and have his name written in Kurumi's good books. Unfortunately, things go south once the silent Yuki finally makes a move. Up until this point, she had merely been watching Basara's fight against her sister in a quiet manner. Now, Yuki sprints towards Basara, obviously with the intention to cut him apart. Meanwhile, even with death staring right in his eyes, Basara remains fearless and doesn't lift a single finger to defend against Yuki's lethal attack. Finally, Yuki reaches Basara, but instead of exterminating him as expected, she merely knocks him out so as to prevent him from reinforcing his two stepsisters. From the looks of it, Yuki still has a soft spot for her childhood crush and just can't bear to wield her sword against him. She then rushes off to duel against Mio and Maria while Basara is down for the count. On the flip side, both Mio and Maria had been fighting Takashi all by themselves. Thankfully, Basara had taught them both a bunch of wicked battle tactics to be used against Takashi previously. As a result, the two were able to fairly contend against Takashi and his fearsome spear Bayako for a while and don't instantly lose their lives. Just then, Yuki arrives as well and starts assaulting Takashi without a moment's hesitation. Apparently, she only knocked Basara's lights out to keep him safe, as well as prevent him from becoming the hero clan's sworn enemy by providing safe harbor to an elimination target. That said, since the very beginning, Yuki hadn't been aiming to slay Demon Lord Wilbert's heir Mio. Turns out, as suspected by her sister Kurumi, Yuki has truly grown fond of Mio after all, and is even willing to incur the hero clan's wrath on her behalf. As a result, both Maria and Yuki team up in a 1 vs 2 match against Takashi. In the meantime, Mio makes her way to Basara, hoping to check up on her well-being. Funny thing is, Kurumi too seems to have developed a sort of affection for the unconscious Basara as she continues to hold him in her lap. Here, Yuki's younger sister finally realizes how Basara too had been suffering thanks to the tragedy from 5 years ago. As such, Kurumi finally purifies her heart from any prejudice against Basara, and even starts to blush upon realizing how manly he has become in the years since they got separated. Gotta admit, the dude surely is a natural when it comes to making pretty girls fall in love with him. Anyways, Mio reaches a spot as well just then and starts barking at her unconscious stepbrother's face, hoping to wake him up ASAP. The method works and Basara soon regains his senses. Next, we see him rush over just in time to prevent Yuki from being slain by Takashi. Seeing how Takashi was even willing to butcher his former friend Yuki, Basara finally decides to abandon words and speak with his weapon instead. Very soon, Takashi becomes unable to deflect the ridiculously fast Basara attacks. As a result, being a defensive weapon, the spear's guardian spirit manifests itself in the form of a white tiger to help ensure his wielder's safety. Alas, Bayako the spear doesn't fare well against Basara and Yuki's combined assault. First, Yuki charges at the enemy and starts launching multiple lightning-fast blows at it. Then, Basara perfectly avails the opportunity while Bayako is still distracted to unleash his lethal Banishing Shift attack. Like all others, Bayako too isn't able to defend against this weird move of Basara that literally sends the target into some other time and space. In the battle's aftermath, Takashi continues to provoke Basara, asking him to finish the job and kill him. Being the sage that he is, Basara refuses to comply with his ex-bestie's request. What's funny is how Mio slaps Takashi out of nowhere and then starts lecturing him about how tough the past 5 years have been on Basara. Finally, Shiba, who has been enjoying the battle from the sidelines previously, now enters the arena and declares it a day. Turns out, Takashi losing control of Byaku in the midst of the duel is what resulted in the mission being terminated for good. What's more, perhaps due to Jin having a cozy chat with the Hero clan's higher-ups, Mio too has been switched back into being a mere observation target. As such, Basara's demonic stepsister won't have to suffer from continuous assassination attempts in the foreseeable future. In the end, even the rebellious Takashi has to comply and obediently head back to the village after the mysterious Shiba gives him a death stare. 10 days later, though, Yuki returns back from the village, claiming how the Hero clan has once again disappointed her to help keep an eye on Mio. What better way to observe a target and keep a constant check on him other than to live in the same house as them? That said, Yuki instantly crashes at Basara's home, with the intention to stay for quite a while and make herself feel at home, much to the surprise of all others. Later on, Maria cheekily offers to help Yuki form a master-servant pact with Basara, same as Mio did. That way, she too will be afflicted with the succubus's curse from time to time, and therefore be able to enjoy the same heckload of lewd stuff that Basara does to Mio on a regular basis. Yuki being smitten all over Basara is old news by now. As such, she instantly agrees to Maria's suggestion, leading to both Basara as well as Mio's jaw reaching the floor instantly. On the following day, Basara unexpectedly discovers Maria sneaking around at school. The dude soon tags along with her and is soon led to witness all sorts of unusual places, such as the girls' restroom, etc., by the wretched succubus. Soon, Maria leads Basara into the girls' locker room. Then after locating Mio's locker, the shameless Maria places her mistress's panties on top of Basara's head as a joke. Unfortunately, Mio returns just then and barely manages to keep her cool after witnessing both Basara and Maria cuddling together inside her locker room. Basara wearing Mio's panties on top of his head like an out-and-out pervert doesn't help matters either. As expected, both these trespassers receive a fair smack in the head by Mio. This ends up activating the curse mark, bestowing Basara with the perfect opportunity to avenge himself. While making out, Basara experiences that rare eureka moment and starts utilizing the showerhead to dominate Mio completely. Have to say, even Maria is impressed by Basara's creativity, and that is one hell of a praise when coming from a succubus. Afterwards, Basara is confused for a moment after witnessing Maria holding a private chat with Yahiro. However, being the fool that he truly is, Basara instantly believes her excuse of Yahiro merely pointing out the way for her. Far away, Zolgia is busy staring at a tape recording of Mio's battle against the Hero clan members a couple of weeks prior. As the demon who killed Mio's adoptive parents, Zolgia is now intent on capturing Mio once more and sucking away all her power for his own sake. What's more, the despicable demon's appetite knows no bounds as he even starts to crave Basara's banishing shift abilities, along with Mio's powers inherited from her father, Demon Lord Wilbert. This wraps up the episode's end, and we're left pondering several mysteries. For one, what is to become of Basara and his stepsister now that the sinister Zolgia has set his greedy sights on both of them? Furthermore, what covert dealings could Maria possibly be having with Yahiro, who's neither a friend nor an enemy of Basara at this point in time? Last but not least, what are the Hero clan's Shiba's true origins, as well as the extent of his powers? Well, that's all for now. We'll surely discover the answers within the next couple of episodes of The Testament of Sister New Devil. And in case you're a subscriber with notifications enabled, you'll know soon enough as well.